Chris Matthews. Welcome to Hardball. It's summer in the city tonight, and we're live from Hardball Plaza with a very hot guest. But first, today's headlines. Today, Senator Russ Feingold said he's introducing 2 censure resolutions condemning the president, the vice president, and other Bush administration officials over the war in Iraq. President Bush says he will veto any legislation, by the way, that will expand the government's role in children's health care. A new Washington Post ABC poll shows Senator Hillary Clinton is still the 2008 frontrunner. Clinton's Republican counterpart, Rudy Giuliani, will begin running his first radio ads tomorrow in Iowa and New Hampshire. And now, please welcome to Hardball Plaza, Oscar-winning filmmaker Michael Moore. Let's make some news. Russ Feingold wants to censure the president, the vice president, other administration officials for the way in which they talked us into war in Iraq. What do you make of it? Where do you stand on that kind of thing?
Good idea. I think it's something, though, that actually they should be lucky just to get censured. Personally, I'd like to see a perp walk coming out of the West Wing of the White House.
Do you think they're guilty of war crimes?
Absolutely.
Name them.
Lying to go to war. Start with that one. Making up something. Tricking up the evidence for war in order to take us into a war that's cost us over 3,600 soldiers' lives and countless Iraqi lives. It's history will not be kind to Mr. Bush for what he's done. You
made some big films, probably the most successful documentary films ever. Roger and Me started off, you went after big industry. Then you went after the war with 9/11, Friday 9/11, and now Sicko. Why do you think you, unlike so many people involved in public affairs and politics, and I mean unlike almost all of them, have caught on to this health care mess and really targeted it the way you did?
Well, I think it's something that affects every American.
But why aren't the politicians over here? We're blocked from the Capitol.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody running on it.
Yeah.
Why not?
I think because, frankly, Chris, the political gene pool has been so depleted in recent years. I mean, over my lifetime, your lifetime, and we used to have great leaders, people of courage, people that stood up for what they believed in, people who had vision, people who led the nation. Where are those people today?
Well, I don't get it. Is I work with people that don't have health care. They can't go to the doctor because they don't have health care, right?
Why are your cameramen?
I know they are.
Yeah.
I know about it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it, but I know something. Let me ask you this. How come those votes don't count? Why can't they scare these guys, if for no other reason, scare them out of losing their seats because they don't have health care?
Well, that's exactly what we need to do. But I think people are at a place right now in this country where they're demoralized. They feel like, what's the use? I mean, 70% of the country's against the war, and yet there's no real effort to end the war.
No, we got a commander-in-chief who supports the war. Let me ask you about health care. Hillary Clinton tried it in '94. She had a Democratic Congress, both houses. She had John Dingell there, Pat Moynihan, the key committees. All the power levers were controlled by her party and the president's party, and nothing happened. It never came to a vote. And that wasn't socialized medicine.
Right.
It was some kind of a plan to get people to get it through work and other ways.
Right.
Very modest plan. How come it didn't make it?
It didn't make it in part because there was so much money thrown in the campaign against her by the health insurance lobby, the pharmaceutical lobby. They just pulled out all stops to try and...
Well, why didn't the Democrats do something about it? They represent the labor unions and the working people. Why didn't they do it?
Because, well, why don't the Democrats do anything? I mean, they were told last November to end this war. And we're still in the war. I mean, that is something the Democrats have better get through their heads, that the people aren't going to tolerate this. And they may not have any place else to go. They may just stay home. And that's not what the Democrats want to have happen in the next election. So they better find their spine and stand up and do the job the American people expect them to do.
Suppose we went past the Congress, past the president, whoever it is, Hillary or Rudy, whoever it is, and you had a national election on whether we should have a national health care system. Would it pass? Just a vote, up or down?
Oh, yeah.
National health care system. Would it pass?
Absolutely. All the polls show that. The most recent polls show that the majority of Americans want not only a universal health care program, they want one that's funded and run by the government. Yeah. That's how bad it's become. Suppose you put the usual support that now.
But suppose you put the usual language on it. You call it socialized medicine. Would they vote for it, or would that phrase still scare them away?
That phrase would probably still scare people away.
Why? Why are they afraid of that word?
Well, because we've been raised in this culture to
But they know what it means. They know socialized means the government pays for it, taxpayers pay for it, and you get it as a right.
Yeah.
Why is it so complicated? If people really know what they need, why don't they vote for it?
Well, I think we need to change the terms. I would call it Christianized medicine.
The enemies are never going to change the term.
No, I'm going to call it Christianized medicine, because that's what Jesus would want us to do. In fact, he said that we can't get into heaven unless we take care of the sick. So that's what we need, is health care for all Americans. Take care of each American when they're sick, and call it Christianized medicine.
Are you going to vote
Jewish medicine or Muslim medicine? Because all the faiths say that you have a responsibility to take care of the sick.
Are you going to vote on this issue yourself?
Yes, you mean in terms of the candidates?
No, when you look at the candidates.
Absolutely.
Do you think anyone is going to measure up to what you want done? Like Hillary. She once was a big advocate of health care. Is she going to do it again? Or is she going to be careful this time?
It's possible. I mean, she hasn't put forth her specific plan yet. So there's still time to have influence on her for the people of this country to write to her and say, you know, when you put out your health care plan this time, please make sure it covers everyone. It's not going to cost anybody anything in terms of having to pay when you go to the doctor or the hospital. We want the same system that the other 24 of the top 25 industrialized countries have. That's what we want in this country, and if she does that, I think that it'll go far for her.
Do you think it's better in Canada?
Yes.
Do you think it's better in England?
Yes.
Better in France?
Yep.
Better in Cuba?
Yep.
Better
than Cuba. I thought you were going to say Norway.
Because I saw that list. You had that list on your. I just watched the Sicko. In the movie, there was a list of health care in the countries, and I noticed
they're two below
even
us.
though you built up Cuba,
they're
in the
two
movie,
below us.
Two below us.
Yeah.
Why are they below us if they've got socialized
they're only two below.